Hey guys, how's it going? It's Mr. Dorado here again with the second day of section 2.7. Now, yesterday we had a little bit of a preview on how to rewrite an equation which is in standard form into slope-intercept form, and just got a little bit more acquainted with what a slope-intercept form is and what information it gives us. Now, I wanted to stress a little bit more today. Standard form, again, something that you might see representing a linear equation, and how sometimes that has its advantages over slope-intercept form, and vice versa, but also on how to switch between both of them. Okay, so just right off the bat, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and write down a few things right away. So let's go ahead and recall a little bit of this slope-intercept form. You guys remember it's y equals mx plus b. So this m right here tells us our slope. This b right here tells us our y-intercept. All right. So our slope is the coefficient that's in front of the x variable, and b is our y-coordinate of our y-intercept, okay? And then we also have something that's called standard form, and that is represented by this equation here, okay? So, oops, not sure why it's doing that, but let me go ahead and highlight it once more. So, we have something that's in standard form, okay? So something of the form ax plus by equals c. So we have both the x and the y variable terms on the left side of an equal sign, and then we have a constant on the right, okay? Now, let's go ahead and transform from standard to slope intercept. So we kind of did this in the last section, or in the last video, but let's go ahead and continue getting some practice with it, okay? So the main thing here is we have to isolate y by using inverse operations or SADMAP, which I think you guys are pretty good at doing by now. So let's go ahead and isolate that y in number 1. So what do we get? Let's see. Well, first off, I have to get rid of that 2x because I'm adding that 2x. And then I have to get rid of that 3. So let's go ahead and subtract 2x from both sides. I get negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 6, okay, because that 6 was positive. And then finally, I'm going to go ahead and divide by negative 3. So what do we get? We get y equals, let's see, negative 2 divided by negative 3 is just a 2/3 x, and 6 divided by a negative 3 is a negative 2. So now we have the information we need. We have our slope and our y-intercept. Let's go ahead and write that down. We have a slope of 2/3, y-intercept of 0, negative 2. Now remember, it's an intercept, so it has to be written as an ordered pair. Okay, let's go ahead and do the same thing for number 2. So let's isolate the y, so let's get rid of this 5x here. That negative 5x, I should say. Those go away. You get 10 y equals 5x plus 30. Okay, now once again, I want to get rid of that 10. So divide everything by 10. What do we get? We get y equals, see, 5 divided by 10 is 1/2. 30 divided by 10 is a positive 3. So once again, we have our we have our slope and our y-intercept. So we can write them both down. So we have a slope of 1/2 and a y-intercept of 0, 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and try one more together, and I want you guys to try out some on your own, so just so you guys get the hang of everything. Okay, number 3, again, isolate the y, so let's get rid of that 7x. So we get 2y equals 7x plus 12. Divide by 2. We get y equals 7/2 x plus 6. Okay, so we have once again, and I always just, since I have it available here, guys, whoops, since I have it available here, I like to make use of my highlighters. Obviously, you don't have use of those all the time, but since I do, I want to go ahead and make sure I highlight what information I'm given. In this case, it's the 7/2 for my slope and the y-intercept of 0, 6. Okay? Alright, what I want you guys to do is try out number, let's see. How about trying 4 through 6 on your own? So go ahead and pause the video and try those out. Alright guys, let's go ahead and try these problems out together. So, as we're doing these, make sure you're double checking your work. Make sure you followed similar steps. So all I'm doing is getting rid of the x because I want to isolate the y. Whoops. Minus x plus 15. Now I divide by -3. What do I get? I get y equals -1 divided by -3 is a 1/3 x minus 5. So once again, I don't know why it's doing that, guys. I apologize for that. 1/3 and -5. So I get 1/3 for my slope, 0, comma, -5 for my y-intercept. So hopefully you guys got a similar answer. And let's just go ahead and keep the ball rolling. Subtract 9x, subtract 9x. Whoops. So we go ahead and get 3y equals -9x plus 27. Okay, let's go ahead and divide by 3 to isolate the y. We get y equals -3x plus 9. All right, so -3 for my slope, 0, comma 9 for my y-intercept. All right, now, so guys, I'm not doing this with a key or anything right now, so just like everyone, I can be making some errors in here. So if you do spot an error and you double check your work and doesn't match what I have, that's fine. Go ahead and just double check and make sure that yours is correct. I maybe made some errors here, so if I wrote something that's wrong, obviously try not to copy it down. That way you don't have incorrect answers. Okay. So just to make sure that you guys are understanding that, don't take everything literally. If you see that I did make quick error here, then just go ahead and note it on your own paper. Okay, guys? All right, but let's go ahead and keep going. So let's see. Let's go ahead and isolate the y. So I'm going to add 4x. So what do I get? I get -2y equals 4x minus 24 divided by -2. What do I get? I get y equals -2x minus 12. All right, so a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of -12. All right. So hopefully you guys checked your answers. Make sure they match mine. If they don't, like I said, double check your work or double check my work. Maybe I'd made a quick error. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at number 7 through 8. It says graph the following lines by identifying the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that now. Right off the bat, we can see that this right here, and let me go ahead and highlight it, is in what form, guys? We have two forms that we've been talking about. We've been talking about slope-intercept, and we've also talked about standard. This one already has the y already isolated, so actually this is already in slope-intercept form, which is kind of nice. So let me go ahead and write that in. So this right here is slope intercept. Okay, it's in slope intercept form, so we're able to identify a few things already. We can identify our slope and our y-intercept. So our slope here is -2/3, and our y-intercept is 0, 7. All right, so as I mentioned in the last video, I would highly recommend, and this is basically the way you should be doing it, is to actually go ahead and graph your intercept first. So let's go ahead and go to 0, 7. It's right there. Now remember, your slope is your rise over your run. So you're actually going to be going down. You're going to fall 2, and then to the right 3. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that now. So from there, we're going to go down 2 and to the right 3. So we are somewhere right here. Okay? Let me go ahead and do that. Okay. Same thing. From there, go ahead and go down 2 to the right 3. Down 2 to the right 3. And remember, guys, you guys can always actually do the exact opposite. Go up 2 and to the left 3. So up 2 and to the left 3. All right, now finally, just go ahead and connect all your dots. If you have a straight edge, I highly recommend you use that instead. My lines are always a little bit off because I don't use a straight edge. Okay, so the next one, what do we have? Well, let's see. We have something that is in what form, guys? Hopefully you guys can identify it just by looking at it, but this right here is in standard form. Now, I just want to mention something real quick. Standard form we have done before, not by finding slope and y-intercept, but we actually did it by finding both the x and the y-intercept, okay? Now, in this case, I don't want to go that route because it says graph the following lines by identifying the slope and the y-intercept. Slope and the y-intercept, okay? So in order to do that, I'm going to do actually what I did up top. I'm going to go ahead and try to isolate the y to turn it into sloped intercept form, okay? Let's go ahead and do that now. So we get, let's see, subtract 2x. I get 3y equals -2x plus 21. Divide by 3, divide by 3, and divide by 3. So I get y equals -2/3 x plus 7. Okay? And actually, what do you guys notice right away? Well, our slope, now that it's in slope-intercept form, is -2/3. Our y-intercept is 0, 7. Isn't that the exact same thing we have in the previous problem? Okay? And it is. It's exactly what we have in the last problem. But notice now that's the whole point of showing you this lesson. We can have something that looks completely different. Number 6, 7, and number 8 look completely different, but they are actually the exact same line. Let's go ahead once again and graph our y-intercept. We're going to go down 2 to the right 3, down 2 to the right 3, down 2 to the right 3. Or as we said, we can do the exact opposite, which is up 2 and to the left 3. Okay? So once again, connect everything with a straight line. And we have officially graphed our line. All right. Now, so here where it says, did you notice anything? I kind of already went over that. We have the same line. Okay, we have the same line in two different forms. Okay. All right, guys. So why don't you guys go ahead and try number 9, and 10 for me. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, do the same thing I just did, and see if you can solve the following problems. Number 9 is just like number 8, and number 10 is just like number 7. So go ahead and try that out, pause the video, and we will come back and double check our answers. Okay, let's go ahead and try these few problems. So this number 9 is in standard form. What I want to do is actually get it in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Subtract 7x. I get 5y equals negative 7x minus 15. I'm going to divide by 5 all around. I get y equals negative 7/5 x minus 3. From this form now, which is now in slope-intercept form, I can find my x and y intercepts. I'm sorry, I can find my slope and my y-intercept, which in this case is negative 7/5 and 0 comma negative 3. So let's go ahead and graph that. So 0 comma negative 3 is right down here. Okay. Now I want to go down. Remember, guys, right here, this tells us that we're falling 7 and we're going to the right 5. Okay. So we're going to go down 7 and to the right 5, which is right here. And remember, we've also learned that we can do the exact opposite from that first point to get another point on this graph. So we're going to go ahead and do up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and to the left 5, so right around here. Finally, go ahead and take your straight edge and try as best as you can to draw a straight line. So yet again, my lines are horrible, but I'm sure you guys can do a better job than I can. Okay, next one. Well, right off the bat, I can already see my slope and my y-intercept, so I don't even have to do any work here. I'm just going to go ahead and draw it. So 1/4 and 0 comma 3. This positive 1 tells me I have to go up, so I have to rise 1 and run to the right 3. I'm sorry, 4. So rise 1 and right 4. So let's go ahead and graph our y-intercept first. Rise 1, right 4. Rise 1, right 4. Or we could do the exact opposite, which is go down 1, left 4. Down 1, left 4. Okay? I'm going to take a different colored marker so you guys can actually see it. That was actually not too bad. Okay, so we have our straight line through those points. So yet again, we worked with standard form and slope-intercept form, and we were able to identify our slopes and our y-intercept to graph our functions. Now, as I mentioned before, we have seen standard form in the past, and in the past we saw it when we were finding our x and y intercepts. So that's what we're going to do for number 10 and for number 11 and number 12. Let's go ahead and do number 11 together, and I'm going to have you try number 12 on your own. So remember, first things first, x-intercepts mean you have to have, let me go ahead and erase that real quick because I don't like how it looks. X-intercepts mean that your y has to equal 0. So if my y equals 0, I have negative 2x plus 3 parentheses 0, okay, equals negative 12. So I have negative 2x equals negative 12. If I divide both sides by negative 2, I'm actually going to get a positive 6. So what do I get? I have x equals 6 and y equals 0. So that's my first intercept. That's actually my x-intercept. So 6 comma 0. Okay. Now for the next one, we have my y-intercept is when x equals 0. So I'm going to do negative 2 parentheses 0 plus 3y equals negative 12. Well, negative 2 times 0 is just 0, so I really just have 3y equals negative 12. If I divide both sides by 3, I get y equals negative 4. So once again, I have my two pieces of information for my next intercept. I have x equals 0 and y equals negative 4. So let's go ahead and draw both of those. I'm sorry, write those down, and then we're going to go ahead and draw them both on the coordinate plane. So we get 0, comma, negative 4. Okay, so 0, negative 4. So let's go ahead and graph both of them. We have 6, comma, 0. That's right there. And 0, comma, negative 4 is right there. There was no need to even find or calculate the slope. All we need now is to just draw a straight line through both of those points. And don't forget your arrows, guys. Okay. Awesome. So what you guys are going to do now, and actually let me go ahead and finish filling this out. So down here we have 6, comma, 0 for our x-intercept and 0, comma, negative 4 for our y. What I want you guys to do is try out number 12 on your own, and then we will double check our answers. All right, so I'm going to look for my x-intercept first, which means I'm going to substitute in 0 for y. So I get negative 3x plus 6 times 0 equals 18. I get negative 3x equals 18 because 6 times 0 is just 0. If I divide both sides by negative 3, I get a negative 6. So my answer here is negative 6, comma, 0. Okay. For my y-intercept, I'm going to do something similar, except for now I'm going to substitute in 0 for x. So I get negative 3 parentheses 0 plus 6y equals 18. Well, here I just get 6y equals 18 because negative 3 times 0 is just 0. Divide by 6 on both sides, I get y equals 3. All right, so my y-intercept here is 0, comma, 3. Let's graph both those points. So 0, comma, 3 is right up here. And negative 6, comma, 0 is right there. So let's take a straight edge and, whoa, that was bad. Let's try it again. That was a little better. Okay, so just take a straight edge and draw your line through both of those points. Make sure you write your x and y intercept in the following lines as well. So again, negative 6, comma, 0 and 0, comma, 3. So hopefully you guys got similar answers for this. Just remember, guys, for x and y intercepts, for whenever you're looking for an x-intercept, you have to substitute in 0 for y. And the exact opposite. If you're looking for the y-intercept, you substitute in 0 for x. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at this last problem together, and we will be done for this video. So, let's go ahead and see what's being asked. It says, you need to graph the line y equals 3/4 x plus 2. You can choose between using a table of values, x and y intercepts, or using slope-intercept form to graph the line. Which method do you prefer to use? Defend your choice, then show your work and graph the line using the method of your choice. So actually, I'm going to have you guys think about this for a second. If you need to, go ahead and pause the video and think about what method would you choose to actually go ahead and graph this line. Would you use this table of values right here? Would you use, what else is the same? Would you use the x and y intercepts? Or would you use the slope intercept form? Alright, so go ahead and pause the video and give your explanation in these lines as to which one you would use and why. Okay, guys, so there's no specific answer for this. That's the whole point of this. The whole point of this chapter, even, is to show you how to graph. And in order to do that, we have multiple ways of doing it. It's really your choice which one you like best. Okay? Now, in this particular case, I'm going to tell you that in my head, I'm thinking that slope-intercept form is probably the easiest to use to graph this, and I'll tell you why. The reason why is because, look, isn't this already in slope-intercept? So I already have my slope here and my y-intercept there. So actually, let me go ahead and write that down here. I have my slope of 3/4, and I have my y-intercept of 0, comma 2. And it's very easy to just go ahead and graph from there. Okay? So now, in my explanation, I would say I would use slope intercept form because, and I don't know why I put a comma there, because the equation is already in slope intercept form. And because it's already in slope intercept form, I can go ahead and go straight to identifying my slope and my y-intercepts, which is exactly what I just did. So now look, that's the method I chose. So look at how quick I can go ahead and graph it. I go to 0, comma 2. I rise 3 because my slope is a positive 3, and then to the right 4. Up 3, to the right 4. Or the exact opposite. Left 3, I'm sorry, down 3, and to the left 4. Down 3 and to the left 4. Okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and take another color here and draw a straight line right through those. Okay? So now I have officially graphed it. But again, guys, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to use your table of values or any of the other methods that we have tried. Now, I just want to show you guys real quick, even though we're pretty much done, I want to show you that if you did choose the table of values, it would have been a good idea to go ahead and choose, like always, 0 for your starting x value, and then identifying according to the equation that you're given how much you should go up or down by on your x input values. And because this here is a 4, I would choose to go down by 4 and up by 4. And you'll actually notice that if you do that, you will actually end up with the exact same values that I went ahead and graphed right here. Okay? If you want to be convinced of that, I would recommend you guys actually try that out. So remember to substitute each one of those values into the equation. It should look something like this. Y equals 3/4 times -8 plus 2. Solve to check what that is. That's actually, in fact, 3 times -8 is -24 divided by 4 is a -6 plus 2 gives you a -4. And look at that. That's the exact same coordinate as that particular point. Okay? So again, if you keep going, you would end up with the same answer. It just might be a little more work. However, even though it is a little more work, it might be your preferred method. You might think is the easiest. Okay? So you guys now have multiple ways of graphing these particular linear functions. Alright guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end the video there. Hopefully you guys have a better understanding now of how to graph functions and how to switch between standard and slope intercept form. And I think we are pretty much done with our chapter. So I think that if you guys still are a little not sure of a few things, I would definitely recommend looking back and watching some of the previous videos. Okay? And I think if you need some extra help, you should come reach out to me, and I can definitely give you some help, and I can give you some extra practice. Alright guys, well have a good day, and I will see you guys soon. We'll move on to chapter 3 next time. Alright guys, have a good one.